one of the most dangerous places in the world. But Bilal Sarwary could be putting his life further at risk by standing for Parliament in Afghanistan. Mr Sarwary is Radio New Zealand's correspondent in Afghanistan. He's visiting New Zealand to give a talk in Wellington tonight, and we can speak to him. He's in the Auckland studio this morning. Hi there.
Good morning.
Why is it that you want to stand for Parliament?
Well, I believe that Afghanistan needs a generational transition of power and politics. I believe that it's a young country, mostly young, and I don't see why we can't be part of the solution. I feel like I have traveled across the country to almost all of its provinces, if not most of its districts and villages, and I've been exposed to the Western world through my education in the US and my work in the UK and rest of the world. So the hope is to be able to help the people of Afghanistan and to be really able to pay back to my own people. I think it's time that we pay our dues back at a village, at a district level. And then Afghanistan hopefully will have a lot of new faces with a new vision. And hopefully that could really help our people whose suffering just continues.
Are you further afraid for your safety, though, by sticking your neck out on this and by actually saying that you will stand for the Parliament?
I think some of us have really accepted those dangers and risks of living in Afghanistan. I'm no better than 30 million people. My family's back home. I'm there. And I think it's a very conscious decision. I think this is a country that's worth dying for. We have seen a lot of blood and sacrifices over the last 17 years or so. And I definitely have Afghanistan under my skin. I've never felt like leaving. And I'm every day motivated by the stories of people who have lost their family members, people who are really taking greater risks than I would, for example, take.
These recent bombings that have been seen in Kabul, also a colleague of yours shot dead, these are daily reminders, I guess, of some of the dangers that you do face.
I think this is interesting that you brought this up. I shared almost 2 weeks ago on my Instagram the pictures of the victims, and I said something like, not just numbers, not just skin and bones, not just in Barchi, Shashdarak, Khost, Kandahar, and Nangarhar. Cruelty of the attackers, failure of the guardians, both must end. I think what we need to really realize is that these are not just numbers. Families are losing their entire members, lives, dreams, hopes, and aspirations are being shattered. I lost almost 9 of my colleagues. 5 of them were my very close friends. I had known these people. I mean, good people, really, they don't grow on trees in a country like Afghanistan. And why is it that we just continue to pay a price for what is clearly incompetence, what is clearly the failures of responsible security officials? I think you also have in Afghanistan what I would call destructive and constructive elites. You've got Afghanistan that has become a vacation ground for politicians and government officials whose families are not there. They're disconnected from the pain and suffering of the people of Afghanistan. And why is it that after 17 years, the people of Afghanistan, they don't feel safe anywhere? Villages, valleys, highways, major cities. And unfortunately, the new front line is now in my city, in Kabul. So I think the pain and the suffering of the people of Afghanistan is simply heartbreaking. And we deserve a better chance just to be able to live in peace.
That is the side of Afghanistan that a lot of people know and that the news reports often show. You're very keen, though, on showing another side of Afghanistan, certainly on your Twitter feed, if people follow that. You often have some really fantastic pictures of the Afghanistan that you never see.
Exactly. I created that hashtag. I believe that Afghanistan has some of the most amazing natural beauty, but also it has some of the most amazing people and success stories. Look at Afghanistan's stolen news. Look at people like Saad Mohseni who have returned back to pay Afghanistan in great and amazing ways. Look at our cricket team. We're no more the underdogs. We're not the cakewalks. We learned cricket as refugees in Pakistan, and today we have world-known spin bowlers like Rashid Khan or Mujib Zadran. I believe that if you gave the people of Afghanistan a chance, they can really be committed members of the international community. I think we've got great examples. Media is one of them. I was a salesman. I was a refugee boy in 2001. I didn't have any hope for my country when we started a new journey, and it's our fight for peace. It's the fight for peace for my generation. And unfortunately, what I really see in my country, that millions of Afghans are born into war. And why is it that in 21st century we cannot have the right for a better life just like the rest of the world? And I think Afghanistan has a lot to offer as well in the long run. So I definitely feel that the West has a moral obligation, given what we did in the 1980s when the Soviets invaded Afghanistan, and then Afghanistan was abandoned in the 90s. So I think today you really can't say, well, let's forget about Kabul or Mogadishu or another country, because you live in a world that's much more interconnected.
It's a fantastic country. Thank you very much. Bilal Sarwary, an Afghan journalist, Radio New Zealand's correspondent in Afghanistan. He's visiting New Zealand and is giving a talk at the New Zealand Institute of International Affairs in Wellington tonight. Thank you very much for coming in. Great to talk to you in this country too, Bilal Sarwary. It's 16 minutes to 9.
Engineers are challenging Kiwi Rail's reasons for removing electric trains from the main